Well, hello, good evening, goeienaand, and good afternoon, goeiemiddag to my South African viewers and Cambodian viewers. It's Pepper Zeka, you back with Andre. And massively sinus-eyed and everything to that effect, but I'm Jan. I'm really chuffed to see you guys. And I'm even more chuffed because yesterday we had a new addition to the family. A vicious, it's actually been known to have probably one of the most vicious temperaments that that you can get. So we're feeling much safer in our apartment with her over here with us. But I'm really before and watching Ronaldo and the locky down with Carter and he's locky down. I thought, oh geez, you know what? We've got to do something there. So I got probably one of the most vicious animals that I could get, and I'd like to welcome Jessie. Is my new little addition, Dad's apple of the eye to our family. Yeah, and she's going to be the new Pepper's Echo. So yeah, welcome little Jessie. Take a look there. She's only, I don't know how to show you, a handful is all she is. But apparently they are the most aggro little dogs that you can find, although this one doesn't look very aggro. She looks more tired than anything else. Yes. I'm going to give you back to your mom now, huh? Yes. Look at me. What the hang do you think you're doing, Dad? Yeah, she's 2 months old, and we got her yesterday, and this is her first appearance on stream. And yes, welcome to Jessie, is our new little addition to the family. Yes, Dad's little apple of her eye. Let her give it back to Mom. In blanket, she does not like Dad's mouse pad on his. And we had a little t-shirt for her as well. There we go. Say bye to everyone. Bye-bye. There we go. Thanks. So yes, I'm a new dad at this age. Ooh, yeah. Long thoughts that we had to do to sit and think, because we only got the name. Hello, Linda. It's always wonderful to have you around, and so great to have you on the stream this evening with us as well. Love having you around. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yes, she is extremely cute. I went into the pet shop yesterday because we've been thinking long, and we've been struggling to find a teacup Chihuahua. And then they got them in, and they had 3 and 1 was out, and they were expensive. So it was like, bank ways, can I borrow some money quickly just to be able to? Why? No, you want to buy a car? No, a dog. But anyway, and we went in there. We said, look, we're thinking about this, but we took one look and said, can we see her? And as we looked at her, we said, okay, what food do we get? What do we get there? What do we get there? What do we get there? Because yeah, so Carter, hold on to your weed, buddy. Here comes Jessie. Okay, so we haven't been doing too much or any real, how should I say, news and views and that. And I'm not going to be doing some news and views this evening either, because I was going to actually talk about when I got to Cambodia and what I found. Now, I don't really have massive amount of photos of actually what it looks like around Cambodia, so I'm gonna throw you guys into a whole lot of different photos of what I have around here, and as much as what I can. But I have Twitter if we really want to go into Twitter, but I'm really not going to go into it. But I've got Ronaldo going. So the fact that there are close to 60 murders a day in this country is not a good enough reason for me to apply for a firearm license. Self-defense is not a valid reason. The ANC doesn't want the citizens armed. The problem with this is the ANC is disarming legal-owned firearms, and they are turning a blind eye and unable to control illegally owned firearms. And these are the firearms that are actually causing the murders, and the firearms that are able to prevent murders are being minimized. So absolute stick in the mud. I got Steve Hofmeyr saying, if I was as wealthy as Wiki suggests, I wouldn't be here, nor on tour, nor singing for half price, nor saving for home renovation, nor crying about Bitcoin. I don't know. I'll leave that one for Ronaldo. Ronaldo, you tell us what Papa thinks. Anyway, let's try and get this camera. Oh, and I just came back today from my new do because I've been having such a terrible time. So, of course, I don't know if I like this so much. It's, I always used to have the old beard that stuck it out there. And today I went and, I went to a place called Tokyo Barbershop. Oh, and I had a king shave or something to that effect. And so they put cream all over your face, first of all, and then they take the cream off, and then they put cleaning stuff, and then they take that off, and then it's hot towel, and then cold towel, and then tea tree towel, and then they put like a coffee mixture over your face, and then they take that off, and then they lather you up, and then they use the old blade, and you just like freeze. I hope I haven't ticked anyone off lately. And they do the shave with a blade, and then next thing it's putty all over the place, and then like a mask thing, sleep for 10 minutes, and then they come and pull the mask off and wax the ears, then the nose and everything and the whole toots, and then more cream, and then they lather it up again, and then another one again. It's like you just like lie there because it's like hot towel, wet towel, hot towel, cold towel, tea tree towel smell. You're just like, this is what a shave should be like every single day. I should actually book an hour for a shave. But anyway, so I, of course, my face feels like a baby's bum, apart from the fact that it looks like a baby's bum. But anyway, I really, really enjoyed it. Yeah. You know what? Those spa days that women have at the spas, I am going to go to Tokyo Barbershop for shaves. It was absolutely amazing. And I only got back at just after 5 this evening from there, and was like, yeah. But anyway, so I will get back to some news and views and things to that effect on the show again as well. I just thought I'd give you a little bit more of my story and where I've ended up. I know people asked, where did you end up and what have you been doing? And I'm trying to get more people on. We had a good load of people on with Ronaldo, but I think it was his guys, and they all went back with him again. But it would be lovely to be able to run Q&As and questions and things like that as well, because I'd like it to be very much a talk show. I know I have a lot of politics on it, which I do believe. I believe that that's the only thing that I can do for South Africa is be the voice from this side at the moment. Unfortunately, there's nothing left for me back there. Once again, in my show, the previous time I said, the one before I said what you need to do. So 2 weeks ago, I said, be sure you want to leave and take a look at X, Y, Z before you do. If you've got security and stability, you are not going to too easily get it over here if you want to leave. But if I can actually show you, and I have showed you this one before, this is what we left with. Nothing but 2 suitcases, 2 bottles of water, and a backpack. And that's all I owned in the whole world when I left. And that was around about the 3rd or the 4th of March. Around about the 3rd or the 4th of March. It's my wife and I and everything that we owned in the world. Now, if you can do that, first of all, then it's okay. But yeah, think about it. On the old plane. So yeah. And getting to Hong Kong. But anyway, let me not get away from myself now. So what did we do? So yeah, you you got to get to the airport like freaking early. They're like 2 hours beforehand. You can't have more than 1 lighter. And then I think they're also a little bit stressed about it if you have more than 1 lighter on you, and so like try and just put it in the pack of cigarettes or whatever, etc., and hopefully nothing looks like it's going to blow up in your luggage, etc. Pack what you can. What I do like these days, even on domestic flights, they have those plastic wrapping things that they wrap your cases in plastic. do it. It's actually quite worth it, so that if your case does pop open or something like that, it's also not too easy just to wiggle something in and bust the lock or whatever. Because even though we had two rather large cases, we still had our cases folded up in plastic and everything. So it's like glad wrapping your case, whatever, and putting it on there. And then you say a little prayer that your case will come out at the same side as what you do, because that's all you own in the world that's going across with you now. That goes, you can literally say we lost every single belonging that we own. But not too bad. Off to not Jans, but not Johannesburg International. Oh yeah, they've changed it almost the third time now. OR Tambo Airport. Bloody bunch of money hooligans. So, cases packed, passports, and the only place we've ever been is Swaziland. This is as far out of country as we've been. We're immigrating. Think about that. So, off we choof. I don't know if it's the new look that's bothering me or the mark on the wall behind me, because my one poster fell off, and no, it doesn't look too cool. And so, right, bam, we fly from PE to our Tambo, checking in everything, and like, please, Lord, let the suitcases also catch the right plane. And we board the plane. Woohoo! And we leave on the evening of the 7th of March. And we arrive there the evening of the 8th of March and lose 5 hours in between. So it's just like gone. You know what? I am still owed 5 hours of my life. Just to let you know. So it's quite a long flight, and those chairs aren't any bigger than domestic flights chairs. It's a domestic airplane flying along the way. As I said, please make sure you book your airplane ticket, book it online yourself. I went to a couple of different travel agencies. The best travel agency, and shame, I must give them a shout out, because she did try her utmost best for us, was from Flight Center. I'm very cautious about these no-known ones and cheap flights and things like that, although I do know people who have taken them and have been okay. So I'm like, we've got to get a travel agency. And I think it was Vicky or Victoria who helped us from Flight Center, but she kept us in the loop. She tried her real best. She contacted us back. And in the end, we actually went online to Flight Center. So if you're looking at travel agencies and that, take a look at their online prices. And I actually mailed to her and I said, can you get me tickets at these prices? This is from your online. And she said, look, I can only book in center. I can only book at these prices. I cannot match our online prices on that. Unfortunately, you need to book online. So I eventually booked through Flight Center to Cathay Pacific online. You can also book directly through Cathay Pacific. They're pretty cool. They fly OR Tambo, Hong Kong, Cambodia. And the flight wasn't too bad. So we get all of this jazz done. Make sure, yes, take a bottle of water or two, because they forget about you on the plane eventually. That's like, okay, I'm thirsty. And then you're like, I don't really want to bother the air host, because I'm a nice guy, but I really could do with a cup of coffee. I know it's 2 a.m. in the morning, but I would like a cup of coffee around about now. So yeah, so do have a snacky or something like that you can pack in with you if you don't want to be bothering the air hostess, although they have fantastic ice cream. But yeah, and then you need to sleep. 17-hour flight. Okay, sleep. Yeah. I suddenly discovered movies. They have in-flight movies. So what did I do? I watched 5 movies non-stop from South Africa all the way to Hong Kong. It was unfreaking believable. I got to Hong Kong, feels like you were dragging barbed wire over my eyes. And this is what it looked like when we flew into Hong Kong. There's like a lot of sea and Hong Kongy or whatever. I didn't get very much. Unfortunately, I couldn't. I was very stupid in Hong Kong. I really didn't know what to do, and we were like so anxious we'll miss this, and we had a terribly long layover in Hong Kong. And what we did is we departed off the plane, and yeah, there we go, Lundy. She's been through it with us. One of our friends, she's on the Motley Mix in Lundy, and longest flight ever. Yeah, there we go. And I got to Hong Kong and I hadn't slept any. I'd watched like freaking movies all the way. Just finished Deadpool 2, touchdown, Hong Kong. But so instead of being able to get around Hong Kong, we were like all like, yeah, you know what, are we going to make it? Where are we going to find the plane? Everything, all that type of stuff, etc., etc. And so we went into arrivals, into customs, boom, into duty free. And there we were stuck for like 9 hours. That was enough to almost kill us. Here's a little bit of a view of the... Unfortunately, it was also very, very overcast and rainy, and everyone's telling us about this hot weather. As I've also told you, do not take anything warm. You land up at you will land up at Hong Kong airport looking like this. It's cold. All you got is a t-shirt, or not a t-shirt, a cotton shirt, short pants, and tackies, and you are quivering. There's a little bit of Hong Kong over there as well that you can see. Hong Kong, very nice airport, huge, massive airport. Big mistake, guys. Let me tell you, if you have a layover, it is very easy to get to the international departures. It is a big airport. I mean, even in the customs and that, I had to catch a train. They have smoking rooms. Let me put it this way. They have smoking rooms on the airport, and what happens is you can go into the smoking room, and if you can get through the fog, you can actually see somewhere to light your lighter, and you stink like a freaking Eskim charcoal used block when you come out of there. It's terrible. So I went to the inquiries. I said, do you have an open balcony? Yes, but it's like on platform 15. So we actually had to catch a little train that way to get to this like open balcony. And there's like, okay, it's raining in. And I'm like, well, I'm not having a cigarette in one of those little stink rooms or whatever. So they do have little smoking rooms, but it's literally almost like little boxes, and 20 people try and crush in there at the same time. So it is like fogged up. It's like a lava lamp when you look at it from the outside. So if you're a smoker, you're going to have a bit of a hard time. But yeah, I made it. And please don't go rushing into international departures or anything like that when you get to Hong Kong. If you have some decent layover time, you can actually get a day's pass. If I'm not mistaken, South Africa does have up to like 30 days, or you can get a day pass, whatever, and actually go and explore Hong Kong. And if I knew then what I knew now, I would have taken the time to, even if you don't want to explore Hong Kong, at least go through Hong Kong airport. It's a huge airport with so much to offer. And just going through Hong Kong, as you can see there is Hong Kong right by the airport. And I spent 9 hours viewing it from this area. There you can see my wife's feet. We were just like whammo. And yeah, we caught the plane at 4 o'clock the afternoon. We arrived there, I think, like at about 8 or 9 o'clock the morning. And 4 o'clock from Hong Kong to Phnom Penh. Phnom Penh is the capital of Cambodia. Nice little long walking streaks. And this is what you're waiting for. When you arrive, coming into Phnom Penh, to Phnom Penh Airport, this is what Cambodia looks like, guys. This is Phnom Penh from the sky. Indifferent. And you do have a culture shock at it. There's good, there's bad, and there's ugly, and there's beautiful, and there's, what do they say in Afrikaans? Mooi van lelikheid. Pretty from ugliness. I don't know how to translate that. There's rich and there's poor mixed up. There's the city of Phnom Penh. So it is quite a big city, as you can see. And there's some heavy buildings, but what you don't note that on the streets, all the streets have little shops, and you know what? In South Africa, they call them kuka shops or something like that. And that's basically everyone's living. In Cambodia, the unemployment rate is very low. I mean, like what's South Africa? Sitting close to 40%. I don't know if there's people who don't want to work there. No, you can't get work. I want to work. I'll go back there. But in Cambodia, it's like such a low percentage, 3-4%, whatever. But far higher percentage live under the breadline. So like working on $1 a day type of thing, you know, you earn very, very little. Some have to have 2 jobs. Some have their little store. What I sell today, I eat tomorrow. This is why I said that the lockdown that we had in Cambodia and Phnom Penh was such a hard shot on the economy and the people, because it's not like a Westerner who actually buys food for the month. You have a huge percentage of these people, tuk-tuk drivers, little shop owners, and they have different little shops. And I'll try, as I go through the weeks now, and we're talking about this a little, and you know, tell me if you're tired of hearing about Cambodia and comparison. Yes, Louis and Ilandi's fiance, and they live here, and he's also on the Motley Mix. If you want to catch the Motley Mix at 12 o'clock South African time, 5 o'clock Cambodian time, we're on there as well. And we do a lot of talking about Cambodia there too. And this is exactly what he's saying. People in Cambodia find their own ways to make a living. They really, really do. And so where was I? I will try and take more photos of in the streets, and we'll try and take maybe some content video, or maybe just do live shots from the streets and from the markets, because I haven't done so much. But I would like some feedback from everybody watching outside and say, listen, you know what, give us, pop it onto the comments, and pop it onto email. Oh, geez, I've even forgotten to do the banners. Like, please like and subscribe. I was so busy with Jesse right now, little Jesse. But pop it to an email, pepperseka, PEPRS@gmail.com. And yeah, let us know if you know what you want to hear about. Yeah, there we go. Linda, love hearing about Cambodia. I hope I'm able to answer or give you a little bit of glimpse at it. Once again, I want to reiterate something, that in any place that you stay in the world, except South Africa. South Africa is just the most beautiful country in the whole world. I know that for a fact. But anywhere that you go and anything that you do is a matter of paradigm. It can be beautiful if you see the beautiful. It can be ugly if you see the ugly. There's some more of, as we were coming in, I was just taking, this is my first view of Phnom Penh, Cambodia, my first view of Cambodia. Because on the plane between, now remember I said to you about the visas, that you get a visa, and I'm not too sure. I'll have to double check that again for you. So please let me know if you want, and you're more than welcome to stay in contact with me and drop us some emails and that as well. I have an email that I have not answered yet. I do apologize, lady who's has a job offer in Cambodia. I have been a little bit slack at getting back to you on there. But your visa, if you do an e-visa online, you will end up having to do a border run, which means you will only have a visitor's visa for 30 days. After 30 days, you will have to leave the country and come back into the country. You want to get an EB visa. I don't have my forms in that anymore, but we'll show you what it looks like if I can get the visas edited nicely. And you want to fill in the forms on the plane and get them at the airport. Now, first of all, make sure you can still do so. I'm not too sure if you are able to get the visas at the airport at the moment in this current situation. I think you are. And it's also possible to just get a standard e-visa there. It happened to us. We didn't look. We were so grateful when we landed in Phnom Penh airport. And you're standing there going, you know what? Please, I'm lost. I want a freaking visa. I need a visa. Now, I was just as worried about it because, I've heard I don't have to get a visa before you get there. And we landed with no visa for Cambodia. And these generals and I don't know, everyone's got, looks like ostriches shat on their shoulders. They got so much medals and honors and goodness knows. They're all standing there doing the visas. And give me a book. Well, $35. And have the right change, guys. They don't have change, by the way. $35 for an EV visa, $30 for an E visa. If you're only going to stay less than 30 days. Bam, pay that. No, stand over there. Stand there. Wait. Here's your visa. He comes back. Thank you. And we go out of the customs area to where the suitcases are, and we look at the visas. And as we look at the visas, we see that they are e-visas, and it's can't find work on these visas, and they're valid for 30 days. And all the visas are valid for 30 days, but I can't renew this one. I've got to border run on that. And I'm back to this guy. And I'm telling you, a higher hand must have been looking after us there, because we're back to the guy we left, immigrations or whatever, where you get the visas from, foreigners. But no. And this guy's like, no, you can't go back in yet. I'm not, the visa's wrong, blah, blah. Eventually, somehow, I don't know how, people to this day say, I don't know how you got back in there again. We got back to that counter. And I ran up to the counter. I said to the guy, we have the wrong visas. These need to be EB visas. He said, you ticked the wrong box. And that's why you need to be very careful. Between Phnom Penh, Hong Kong and Phnom Penh, we got the forms on the plane to fill in for the visas. And we ticked the right box, by the way, EB. And he's like, nobody wanted to help. So you know what, toughies, you got a visa, you ticked the wrong box. Please. And somehow one chap got up to go and look at our form. And he came back and he said, still your fault. You should have checked. Oh, yeah, we are so sorry. Yes, no, it's definitely our fault. We should have checked. Can you just give us the right visa, please? First of all, they give us change. Okay. I said, I paid $70 for these things. He has $10 back. I said, I don't want the money back. I want the EB visa. And one chap, thank you, Lord, actually helped us. And your fault, I fully agree, all our fault. So guys, please make sure that you can get your visa when you come in. But number two, make sure it's EB and check it before you leave the international side or whatever. However, these days in COVID times, currently, you are going to need $2,000 as a deposit, and you're going to go into 2 weeks quarantine. And you might get change back from that $2,000, because that's going to cover your accommodation and your food, etc. And I'm not too sure how great your accommodation and etc. are going to be. I will hopefully, maybe, I know a friend of mine whose brother is coming this week, and maybe we can get hold of him and ask him about his experience lately. I think Louis, you saw Louis was talking on the show. Said he's landing tomorrow, and maybe we can bring him onto the show in a week or two's time and ask him about his current experience as we went by. Okay, I have another photo there. We stayed at a place called La Luna Hotel. Let me just go back one. Just want to see there. You don't really see the little shops and that, but there, if you look nicely, let me try and do it. You will see that in front of everything, there are little shops. And once again, I said it's a paradigm. You can look at all the rubbish that is lying in the streets as well. You can look at all the rubbish. And strangely enough, a lot of these living areas are long. Take a look at these little houses. They're long. Look here. It's not like, here's a block. We built 4 long little houses over there. Everything seems to be like these little long things. Look there, long little houses over there on the left-hand side. They all got these little lengths and things like that, and it's pretty amazing. Look there at the back there; they're all long. You do have your big buildings and that, but you know what? Especially in your living areas and that, all seem to be a little bit long. Here's a nice, seems to be a living area, but you'll also find that you'll have rich and poor mixed together. There, I don't know if I can zoom in enough on that. There's like a building, and this is probably a shop, and this is a bike wash, and this is a hardware outlet, and this one is just a general. You do get your, I will show you that you do get proper malls in that here as well. There's also, we couldn't fit another building in, so we just put a long one in there. Take a look over here, this side here. Also, two long buildings. Everything's like these long, thin buildings. And everything is pretty, sometimes torn up, as you can see, little wrecked. And that is why, once again, I reiterate, I have the beholder and what you behold. And there's Phnom Penh, main city, etc., etc. This is just coming in from the airport side. Hello. Okay, we stayed in a place. We went to La Lune Hotel because, firstly, driving down these streets, literally, sadly, my first impression was like, I'm like, what the hell have I done? What have I done? And it's like, wow, because it is a culture shock. I'm sorry, guys. You know what? As much as what your paradigm is good, and I burnt the bridges so that I can make a success of it, which I think my wife and I fairly much have done, and with a lot of good support from good friends and people. There's a group of us. We, as I said, once again, I know I'm punting it, but we do the Motley Mix. If you tune into the Motley Mix on Sundays at 12 o'clock, my wife, myself, Ilandi, Niels, and Divan and Supir. Supir's, and it's us three couples. Ilandi and Niels are also from South Africa, as are Ina and myself. And then Divan is from South Africa, and Supir is Cambodian. And we actually have quite a nice show chatting about Cambodia and that as well. And this is why I thought, well, you know what, the last time when Ronaldo was on What's Happening, tell us about Cambodia. So I will go back to news and that here and now and there again, but I'm actually quite enjoying having this chat. I just would like more people on the chat and maybe filling in some... Oh, the link. Sorry. I keep on forgetting that there should be a link to this Motley Mix. Yes, I can share the link. The ladies did it was just Ilandi and Ina on this evening, because I went to have my do done and the rest were here at home. It's usually the 6 of us together. I think this should be it. Let me place it in there. That should hopefully get us. Let me see if I'm being untechnical now. No, there we go. The Motley Mix. And we've done quite a couple of things on Cambodia. We've done tool sling. We've done, and hopefully I'll get it done on the Echo as well. But we stayed in a place, as I said, we came down these streets and that, and I'm like looking at this and everything's on the right-hand side and it's narrow and there's little scooters and all those wonderful things. And I'm like, oh, no, what have I done? Luckily, I have a very positive wife, and she's, oh, geez, adventure, look at it. I'm like, yeah, you know what, I'm all for adventure, but oh, no, what have I done? And this was our very first night. We stayed in this very mediocre hotel, nice, clean, called La Lune Hotel. I actually have a video that I've made of a place that was called The Base. I don't know if it still exists, but there's Poolside Villa that's also owned by The Base. It's the same thing, which I will show you because I don't think I'm going to get through everything this evening, but I'll show you what that looks like. But this was our very first shot from the rooftop of La Lune Hotel. And you can see the streets are very I don't want to say primitive, but they're very basic. It's not like, there's a truck parked there, there's a bike coming down, there's a tuk-tuk over there. The wires, the cables, one thing you're going to learn is there are no buried cables here. Everything runs above ground. Now, I'm sorry to say, if this was South Africa, we would be powerless because they would be stealing the living daylights out of those cables. And then this is the mall. So yes, there is, when I really, really miss civilization, then I go to a mall like Aeon Mall, and they have Western stores and stores and things like that. So it's not like, but it is a mix of culture. I don't want to say culture. It's a mix of class. The whole the city. You will have this huge big mansion, fully walled, and next to it would be like a little shanty type of thing, and then like a little makeshift restaurant, and then a little bike wash next to that, followed by the post office or something to that effect. It's pretty amazing. But then we have a massive mall in that as well, and there I can show you this is the Hello Kitty store itself in Aeon Mall. It's Aeon, Aeon, and the Jaicon store. You buy all kinds of trading cards and onions, and you are not going to believe this next store. Okay, it is quite acceptable here, but coming from South Africa, I nearly had heart failure. Yes, it is called that, and it's got nice little things for children as well, and it sells everything. It's like suitcases, pillows, stationery, books, covers, etc., etc., etc. And I'm like, this looks like a brothel. No, it's not, and it is an absolutely perfectly well-named store called the Pink Pussy. Yeah, well, no, fine. And yeah, it was only my dirty South African mind that got me into trouble. Yeah, the rest is pretty normal. And as I said, there you can see they've got like little soaps, I think, and little bags and suitcases, and there's like little pillows, and I don't know. It's like a variety shop of everything that you can actually want. Yeah, we must actually take a photo of that sometime. And that's why I said I'll actually try and be out and about a little bit more. Olympia Mall has an escalator that goes to heaven. I think it's got how many stores? 4 or 5 floors, and the escalator just passes by everything. So if you want to go up, you take the escalator, and Shelteren, I don't know what that says, but you take the escalator, and it goes and misses floor 1, 2, 3, 4, and then goes to the 5th or the 6th floor. So there's like, you take the lift down or the lift up if you're going to stop in another one. But this is Aeon. That's we need to get to Olympia as well, and maybe we get Niels and Ilandi on some time as well, chatting on the Echo as well. This is just another picture that we took from the rooftop. I had an old cell phone there, and that was all I had to take photos with. So do excuse the fact, I'll try and make them bigger. Do excuse the fact that the quality is not great, but these were the first photos that I had. It's the street and everything. It was quite late as well the night because friends had fetched us. Fortunately, we had friends. Always nice if you have somebody to meet you on the airport, at the airport. Really, it is. But it's not a train smash if you land alone. There's the streets. This was pretty late. I could easily say it was probably maybe 1 o'clock in the morning. Taken from the rooftop there. We were just like, wow. And then you'll see, I don't know if you can see it over there, but there's also thin little houses again. Let me try and if you zoom in, you'll see all thin. There you look, yeah, thin. Somehow the Cambodian building. And then I was quite tickled. I haven't got a picture of the other beer to show you, but I actually took a picture of the beer, and one of the beers here is called Ancho beer. So thank you, Ancho. I'll take a little bit of kickback there, which I quite like. It's actually a Pilsner, so if you want to get the closest to Ancho in South Africa, I think a Hansa is what you do if you can still get Hansa. And so it is also, you heard me pronouncing it Anchor, and I did pronounce it Anchor because it's actually spelled Angkor, but there's another beer called Angor, 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 for like Angor Wat and something like that. So Angor is the other beer, Angor, and this is pronounced Anchor. So if you go into a pub or somewhere like that and you ask for an Angkor beer, they will give you an Angor beer, not an Anchor beer, which is the Angkor beer. Yeah. So it's not Angkor, it's Anchor. And Angkor is Angor. If that makes any sense to you. I'm not much of a beer buff, guys, but yeah, that makes any sense to you at all. That's me after. So we get here. And of course, the first thing we do is we start hunting for work, because we come here without work. As I said, Cambodia does not offer, it doesn't really do online interviews and give you a job offer in South Africa. You get your butt here and you usually get your job here. It's not a matter of you'll get it. I know China and some of those places, other Asian places, and that will actually do the interview Skype-wise with you, etc., etc. Now, if you remember very carefully, before this stage, I do have my degree now, but I didn't then. So I had to find a country that wouldn't require a degree. Now, there are quite a few, so please remember, and I know I'm repeating myself or iterating as I go along, but it is very, very important because you can land yourself in a lot of trouble. Excuse me. So we came to Cambodia because we didn't need to be able to start off with degrees. And Cambodia obviously is not a country that does interviews on Skype, gives you your job offer and everything, etc., etc. I'm not saying every single place in Cambodia isn't like that. I know one or two that may have been like that, but majority of the time you get your butt here and you get onto your feet and you start walking from school to school to school. You hire a tuk-tuk, and if you are like us, our first day we hired a tuk-tuk and we said, right, how much? And it's like $15 for the day, right? Start taking us to schools, and we tried to look up schools this way, that way. The tuk-tuk driver got lost. We got lost. It was an absolute shit show. The first, I think we had him for 2 hours, and then I said to him, see that bike rental place? Take me to the motorcycle rental place. Go and rent yourself a scooter and get yourself. Google Maps works beautifully here. You just type in international schools, and it pours. There are over enough international schools to get to. And if you're clever enough, or you actually get hooked up with someone like what we've got now at the moment, when we get friends and that come over, we got a guy called Terry with a tuk-tuk, and he really knows the schools and that, and you pop them into the tuk-tuk with Terry, and it's like $15 for the day or something like that, and Terry knows the schools. He takes them from school to school to school, or you get yourself a 125cc scooter for a big one. The 125 PCX is about $130 for the month. If you get a smaller one, you can be paying $100, $90, $80, $60, depending on how big you are. Again, you know what, if you're two big people, do not try and get a little scooter. You're not going to get around very much. But yeah, you know what, learning to ride the scooter will be automatic, so no problem at all. And yes, enjoy it. Just drive carefully. Don't let it get you, because traffic, I have a video of that as well. But you walk from school to school. Now, my biggest shock over here was we walked around looking for rugby fields, and I'll show you a picture of a school just now as well. But and it's hot. It is. So this is at the end of the day, after going hunting, job hunting, and job hunting, and job hunting. And as a foreign teacher, first of all, I can tell you that you want to be presentable. You know what? I have sat with our director or assistant director a couple of times where he's looked and he says, you know what? Here's a chap who came and dropped his CV off, but he looks like I need to buy him a plate of food. And this one just doesn't look like he could organize his clothes or organize himself to get dressed. What's he going to do at the school? A foreign teacher does not get paid badly in Cambodia. However, a foreign teacher is there, first of all, as a presentation. You need to be well presented. You need to look the part as well as be able to be the part. As I said, first of all, I hate the fly-by-nights. I hate the people who come for 6 months or whatever and think, oh, I want to go on holiday and I want to travel and I want to make some money. I can't get a bar job or a waitering job or something like that, so I'll just be a teacher. It is very much hated. So yes, remember, you want to look presentable. There I am not looking presentable. I'm looking absolutely bushed, but I did have a tie and a jacket on, and it was tucked in and everything to that effect, but I was just, as you can see, smashed. I needed an anchor afterwards over there. But we went around and we looked at for schools. There's like an example of what a little outside restaurant will look like. You know, there's some stuff there. It's very, very, you do get the formal la-di-da restaurants, but a lot of them are just, there we go. That's outside restaurant. Note that the tables all have just like a little dustbin over there. So, when you finish your cool drinks or whatever, you throw them in the dustbin. No one's going to come clear the table all the time there for you. And there we go. It's like this one was quite cute. It's got like little half drums with a pillow on it. I think it was supposed to be a Chinese like place, but I'm also very careful what I eat. I don't want to to get on the wrong side. I'm actually taking a look. Linda, nurses. I wouldn't say there's not place for a nurse. There are definitely places for nurses. I just don't know what the salary is like for them. You'd have to take a look at that. And I would definitely, especially if you are settled, once again, as I said previously, in South Africa, and you have work and a stable income, etc., before I would pull and just zap to Cambodia, I would definitely look at a New Zealand or an Australia or something like that as well, because that is, I know my wife's sister has just finished her sister's course in Australia. They moved there about 10, 11, 12 years back or whatever. And she actually started cleaning houses when she got there. And then she worked in an old age home and then going through. Language isn't actually a problem if you're a foreign nurse. There's French nurses here. There are foreign people that work at the clinics here, and people seek them out to go to these places, especially the Western people. I know there's I'm not too sure which clinic. There's a rough, very, very rough lady that's a nurse, but she's like salt of the earth. Good nurse. What's Ilandi say? Yes, I agree. Mostly nurses from Thailand work here to get a decent salary in Cambodia. Being a teacher in the international school is the best option. Yeah, I know of a nurse from not Thailand, from Philippines, and she was teaching at our school. Unfortunately, now with COVID popping in, they had to cut a few positions, and unfortunately, because she was last in, she was first out. But she's a fully qualified nurse, and she preferred teaching to nursing here. So you could nurse here, but you know what? Coming from a foreign country, I would do teaching, depending on where your heart lies. I mean, if your heart lies with helping people, then I'm not going to be the one to tell you no, but I am going to tell you that it's not the highest paying position here. It can be rewarding, but there are other countries. But once again, as I've said as well, guys, if you are settled in South Africa, you've got a family and you've got a home and you've got to work. And yes, I know it is dangerous and that, but be, rather, if you can, if I was that secure in South Africa, I would have made a plan to come visit first. And we're more than happy to help you come over. And we don't have huge places, but you're welcome to come and bunk down here and go and see a little bit of what's happening. What did Lundy say? There's a wide range of languages in the medical industry. Yes, there are. Especially they look as well for foreign assistance. I don't say that this is the case because I stand corrected as well. But excuse me. But in the more educated professions, there are very few people, because in the genocide time, most of the learned people are what how should I say? Most of the learned people were taken out. So your doctors are from other countries. A lot of them from other countries. I mean, I went to see a lady the other day, and she works at a wellness center, and she's French. And so, you know, a lot. I mean, there's the French. Is it the French Soviet or the Friendship Soviet, or there's some French hospital here as well, the Royal Phnom Penh. I don't think you'd have a problem finding it. What's Alandi say? Yeah, let's take a look while we're on the subject. Yeah, salary-wise, medium salary with a small amount of exception. Yeah. We're not happy with the government, but love South Africa, and I take care of my granddaughter, who I'm not allowed to take out of the country. Yeah, you know what? When you've got that much responsibility, look, I don't think have been in the country long enough to actually diss a Cambodian government, but I don't think they're at the exception of South Africa's lunacy. But somewhere along the line, I believe South Africa will turn. I mean, I believe that you cannot have and now I'm going into politics again. Anyway, but I will definitely be carrying on. But while we're talking, I love talking about this. I do believe that there are too many people. First of all, there's not going to be a black-white civil war in South Africa, because there are too many black and white and colored and Indian and Asian people and whoever else in South Africa that have the same need and want to live in an economically stable country, and they just want to be able to thrive in their own work, in their own families. The people who are actually causing the absolute headache are the core rot, which is the leadership, sadly, yes, and that is our government, the National African National Congress. Number one with a bullet. They're an absolute cancer. They are rotten. They would rather see the country burn to the ground and rule over the ashes and count that as success, and I've said it many times before, than what they would see the country economically flourish. And they are stealing. And somebody said the other day, so I speak from non-fact, that having the old regime in government, they stole as much as what they could because they weren't used to it. But getting the new regime in is even worse, because they are now so tactfully manipulating and stealing. They are even worse. And I was the one of those who hoped that they wouldn't be so bad. What's Ilandi say? In your situation, if South Africa still has something to offer, live the life to the fullest there. I always say, no matter how rough it is around you, a positive attitude will go far. Yeah, I agree. You know what? I'm not one to sit on the sideline and chase people out of South Africa. I'd love to tell you about Cambodia, how happy we are here. Once again, the paradigm shift, because as you can see how basic things are, how people struggle, how things are not. That's my wife at one of the restaurants. Once again, there you can see just like little flip-up chairs, little tables, and it's got like a little fire underneath there, and they bring you food, funny food, and you cook it yourself. And yeah, there's one of the beers. It's marked in a glass. We got Cokes. Note we had Cokes. And then she's cooking her food. But yes, I'm not one who sits on the sidelines, and I agree with Ilandi there. While your country still has something to offer you, while you still have some form of stability, protect what you have. I can't go back. There is nothing for me. I am too white, too male, too old. If I do get anything, it will be low-paying, long hours, ungrateful, probably. And you know, my life here is inexpensive because Cambodia is one of the most inexpensive countries to live in. If you go to Australia, you pay through your bum. I'm going to probably say I have my wife pass off the couch now when I say to you that for little Jessie, we paid $380. Now, if you take that, multiply it by about 14.5, it's a shitload of money. And then her sister, she's showing her this morning on the Zoom, take a look at the little dog we bought. And she's like, how much? And we're thinking, oh, embarrassing again, $380. She shows us in Australia, it's $4,000 for a Chihuahua like that. And if you took the long-haired one, it would be $6,000. So she, you got them for a bargain. I said, yeah, well, we got this one quite well because they can go to 400, 500. I think the most expensive one was 900 that we actually got over. It could have got over here, but we just couldn't afford that. But so, cost of living, let me give you an idea. You could happily go out and eat $10 for two people if you were careful. $15, definitely. I mean, you could budget $15 for a meal out, depending on where you go. If you want to go to somewhere where the steak costs you $99, then you know what, choke on it and enjoy it. But I'll show you this, and I think I will be showing you Street 172 next week because it'll be getting to the end of the hour, and I really don't want to just yak on because people don't really watch to the end. But in just normal like little places, it's we buy cigarettes, for instance. I think it's almost $50, $30, $40 a pack of cigarettes in Australia. My cigarettes, which are brand, I suppose I can say it on air, I'm not monetized, is a Marlboro brand, Marlboro Gold. And you can buy Marlboro Reds as well. Is $1.50, $1.50. That's less than South African cigarettes. And if you really were wanting to go cheap, you would buy a pack of Ara, which is not too bad. I smoke them every now and again. That's 50 cents. That's basically 7 Rand. Basically 7 Rand for a pack of smokes. I will buy a pack of Camel, which I can't get in town in Cambodia. I go to the duty-free store and I'll buy a pack of Camel for $13 for a carton. Makes it $1.30, which makes it plus 7 about $20, 20 Rand. Yeah. What did are you talking or am I putting it up? I agree with you. As a nursing sister, I earn enough to keep my family fairly comfortable because we live with my parents' family. Definitely. Linda, I would not in the least. I would encourage you to stay watching Pepper's Echo from South Africa. And maybe the Motley Mix. Actually, I can actually share the screen with you as well. Let me just stop sharing there for a second. I can show you what the Motley Mix looks like. Window. Move it there. Ah, there we go. Bring her in. That's what the Motley Mix looks like. That was last week's one. Oh, girls chatting about the Cambodian fashion. And it was just the girls chatting. So there's Ina. That is Ilandi. So if you don't know what she looks like, Linda, that's what Ilandi looks like. And that is Supia. That is Devon's girlfriend, Niels's girlfriend, and that's my wife over there, as you can see the pictures in the back. But let's not continue there. I just wanted to show you the Motley Mix's home. And yeah, that we haven't been going too long, but we've been going long enough to start sort of hoping to keep going. Right, where was I? I was about to say goodbye, wasn't I? Not yet. No, but agreeing, staying where you are is important. And once again, there's something that's so important, and I found that it worked for me in Cambodia. First of all, moving to another country changes nothing. First of all, what I did find, it's a culture shock, and I'd like to definitely show you guys more. There's our tuk-tuk driver. Let me get back to that. Moving to another country doesn't change anything. If you have emotional baggage, if you have tension, if you have anxiety, if you have underlying tensions, anger, if you don't get along or whatever, and you move to another country, let me tell you, it does not sort itself out. That moves with you. The only thing is you're now in an unfamiliar place with your baggage on top of you. So if you have any baggage that needs to be sorted out, I would suggest that you rather sit in a country that is beautiful, with a family, with a home. Whether you're with your parents, you've got a solid roof over your head, you have a close family, you have a support structure. That's fine. That's fine. I really don't have a support structure left in South Africa at all. I do have good friends. I miss them terribly. I miss the country. I still don't regret the call that I made. However, we were at the point where we were rock bottom. And the best to be able to do from living hand to mouth and going under was, listen, this is our call. We're looking at it. But I 100% agree. Stick to watching the Motley Mix, Pepper's Echo. Forget about the Motley Mix now. Spoken about that already. No, I'm kidding. Stick to watching Pepper's Echo. Ask your questions. We'll show you beautiful places. Come visit us if you feel like coming to see what it looks like. But I do believe that it's a paradigm shift. Even South Africa is a paradigm shift. You've got to look. I've seen pictures of South Africa before and after. And before was beautiful. I remember South Africa before, and I remember South Africa after. You know what? The white picket fence was true in South Africa. It was beautiful. Not wanting to share it was wrong. So yeah, I don't want to go into politics now. I'd like to discuss that on a time on its own when we have many more people that we can actually chat about and chat to. But all I'm saying is, if you've got stability, hold on to it. Look after yourself. Be careful. You know South Africa is not the safest country that there is to be in, but you know the safest ways to maneuver around the country. You know what? You live there. I did not go, oh, I'm going to die. I'm going to leave the country. No, that was not my reason for leaving the country. Reason for leaving the country is I love teaching. I had my own after working in retail and teaching in retail for so long, I had my own trading company, which actually took a bit of a dive when I had a big retainer with a company that actually took a dive, and my retainer went, and I hadn't done my marketing enough to actually have my smaller companies keep me going. So I lost out. But and I had been looking at this for quite a while, and we loved teaching, and this was the opportunity. And we thought, well, you know what have we got to lose? And when we added up, we've got nothing to lose, nothing to gain. That made it for us. We had no one to look after. If I had so much as one person, you have your little daughter, your granddaughter to look after. If I had just that, I wouldn't have done it. Never mind, you know what, we didn't live in the greatest of places. We were you live in Krugersdorp. I know exactly where that is. We were in Roodepoort, and we lived in near some university there, and so the actual place we lived in was like covered with university students, but that's where we could afford. I worked at Crossing, just before Clearwater Mall. I worked there, so I wasn't very far off there. But, you know, Krugersdorp's still a nice place. You still have a beautiful life. Go for it. Ask me what you want to know about Cambodia. I'll tell you. I'll show you the good and the bad, and that's what I hopefully will do. And hopefully I won't get put into a Ziploc bag and chucked into the Mekong River for it. But I still believe it's a beautiful place to me. The people are beautiful. The culture is beautiful. The lifestyle is beautiful, although you will shudder when you first see it. Yeah, what Silandi say? Let's get back to comments. I agree, never move because you're running away from emotional baggage. Yes. Linda, I have many teachers in my family who could not work in SA, so have gone to foreign countries. Sadly so, yes. And the teachers who are fully qualified teachers go to like European countries, Australia and New Zealand. I would have loved to have gone to New Zealand as well. You can tell them to pop us a comment. It would be lovely to have a chat with them, talk about, yeah, you know what, it would be great if we could actually get to chat to some of them and that as well. Okay, now next week I'll move into the apartment. I'm not going to do the moving into the apartment now. It was actually lovely having this chat, and I so wish we could get more people on. Please let me know, Linda, yourself as well, especially. Are we having it at bad times? Is it a really bad time, South African time, 2:00 on a Sunday afternoon? I can't go much later. I could maybe move it to 3, but then it's like 8:00 at night. Yeah, we could do it earlier, or we could do it on a Saturday. Friday, once again, you could maybe move it to a 3 or a 4:00 because then it's 8 or 9:00. Yeah, which is fine. But yeah, see if people would prefer a different time, because you know what, we could pre-record this, but I don't think pre-recording is nice because you can't really talk, and although I talk a lot, I don't give many people chance to talk. But yeah, it's a country with an amazing beauty that has an amazing shocker to you as well. I want to end off with, and I'll show this again. No, pause, back. I want to show you the traffic here, and I'll show it again, but just for the fun of it, I want to show it now. Share screen. This is how the traffic here works. This was at our first apartment that we stayed. Now, I don't know if I can zoom in on this thing. No, I can zoom in on that, and that doesn't help me anything. But if you take a look on the corner here, well, first of all, this corner over here is an absolutely stunning mansion house. Fully built, everything. That's the entrance gates to this house. And there you will see there's like a little umbrella with a little orange little ice box that sells cool drinks and cigarettes and everything. And over here's another one. And there's like a little restaurant. I think this one had a TV in it. You could sit and watch TV while you... And there you'll see, there's the smart building. But in front of them, pavement-wise, and these people all... And I think this was a woodworking shop. All of these down this road were woodworking. They did carvings and tables and chairs. And most of the people over here, and I will do this again next week as well, most of these people, you see their little shops are in the bottom and they live in the top. They live there. These are their houses and these are their little shops, their little cuckoo shops and their businesses over there, and they live there. Over here was another like little open restaurant. We lived on top of a place that was a coffee shop. That was our first. I think there was another house here, but this is in town. And I just want to show you the traffic. There are no stop streets over here. So there's an intersection. People do drive on the right-hand side. So if they are on the right, it's the right. But there's no stop or go or help me or anything like that. So check this out. It is unfreaking believable how they just weave through the traffic. There's a whole, and we're going. It's like, well, you just go. It's organized chaos. This is what we could see from our balcony. And I looked at this and it's like, what? This is what you drive in, and that's how you're going to drive. It's like, what? I They were saying organized chaos. Yeah, the car had to go across it, and they hooted each other. Oh, I'm coming, mind. And no one gets upset. No road rage, anything like that. I'll start off next week with this one because I don't think many people watch to the end here. And check there. Okay, someone's coming. We're all there. Okay, now we're turning down, yeah, and I'm turning. I'll just turn through you, and you slow down, and I come through there. And it is absolute chaos in harmony. Look at that. Look at that. Right. Okay, there's a whole lot of us coming. I'm turning, you going through. I'm needing to come through, turn. We'll feed in there. That's okay. You pull through. And of course, there's a ton of scooters, as you can see, and tuk-tuks. There we go. Oh, mind. Okay, no, I hooted, so I can go first. There's a little tuk-tuk with a trailer on it. There's a truck coming along. Okay, he knows what to do. There's a car. The bikes. Okay, now slow down. The bikes are going. Okay, you can push through there. There, I need to go over, so I'm going to go in there. And okay, right, there's my gap for going, and over I go. And I've just gone through the traffic. It's unfreaking believable how traffic works here. Check that out. Yeah, it's what's the name? There's Linda. You work at a hospital near Clearwater Mall. Oh, we used to go to Clearwater all the time. I love just walking around there. I know it's not the most exciting mall, but the robot just before the Clearwater robot was the crossing little mall or strip mart or whatever. There's a Mr. Price there, and there was a big spa there and outdoor warehouse and everything. And I worked in retail there, so I spent most of my day. And the McDonald's there, because I used to get to so early in the morning that I ended up, you know what they knew. Let's do some McDonald's bumping over here. Sausage McMuffin with sausage McMuffin McMeal. Yeah, comes with a hash brown. Don't like the eggs; they're too rubbery. But it has the hash brown with it, and then the patty on that salty thing. Oh, we don't have McDonald's here. We have Burger King. We have Carl Jr.'s. There's a lot of how should I say? Chain stores and that over here. But I've really got to leave it for next year. I'm already 50 minutes over. Nobody's going to watch this. I'm going to talk about the cinemas with the beds in it. I want to talk about looking a little bit more into Aon Mall Point, going on a boat on the river. We went with Ilandi and Niels to Kep and all of that. Maybe Ilandi can help us. Where's Ilandi say? Welcome to Cambodia roads. Getting in a tuk-tuk, stressing 10 kilograms in 2 kilometers. You get used to it. Although I'll tuk-tuk, because I'm telling you, I'm ready to lay an egg by the time I get to school. Guys, I'm not going to chat any longer. I keep on saying so. And I'm telling you, I got such a flippin' sinus thing, but I'm loving talking about this. Linda, it's been wonderful having you. Ilandi, thank you so much for being on as well and pushing it there. Guys, I know I haven't pushed politics in that, but you know what? If this is a little bit more better or a little bit better, it'll be great. Yeah, Linda, it'll be great if you ask around. People can drop comments on you. If you guys have got a better choice, like and subscribe. Drop me a mail. Peppers Echo, PEPRSECHO. It's not a double P and it doesn't have an E. It's meant to be like that. And yeah, you can drop us a mail and tell us which time would suit better. And we would have a lot of fun. Here we go. Thank you very much. All I've done is a lot of talking, a little bit of personal experience, but we've had a lot of fun over here and I've really, really enjoyed it. So guys, Linda, Ilandi, and anybody else that's watching and anyone that's watching the reruns, please, if you need to know more, do get into contact. What I don't know, I'll try and find out and throw into a next stream, but I'd just like to push over our adventures as we go along. And I'll continue next week, as I said, with I'll open with the traffic again. I'll show you a cinema with beds in it instead of chairs, making friends at a mall, water shows, or all those wonderful things. But till then, be good, take care, and remember, if you can't be good, at least be kind.